What's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Good morning. This is not going to be one of my more popular videos, which is cool because, I'm not really here to cheerlead or anything like that. I'm not here for that. I see things, I read, I'm doing my own research, and I respect everybody on the YTBC. I've been watching everybody's videos, and me personally, I was kind of hoping that we heard something more from Team Rigondeaux in regards to this whole WBO situation, all right? But before I even get to Guillermo Rigondeaux, let's talk about the WBO and just boxing in general and how these organizations continue to fail in being consistent when it comes to stripping titles from boxers, okay? We already know that the ranking system is messed up. We already know. How did Cesar Juarez become the mandatory at 122? Okay? He's fighting Nonito Donaire in December, who is the number 2 for the WBO. Okay? These guys are probably going to fight for this now vacant WBO title at 122. All right? In December. All right? So the ranking system's messed up. You have the number 1 and the number 2 guy fighting each other. But the WBO is claiming that, well, you haven't fought any mandatories since you won the title. Okay? You haven't fought any mandatories. And you haven't fought since 2014. All right? October is done. Halloween is tomorrow. We're going into November. And Guillermo Rigondeaux doesn't even have a fight scheduled for 2015 or anything. He has a full all year. All right? So, the WBO, all right, obviously, there's a problem. Why is the number 1 and the number 2 guy fighting each other? And neither one of those guys are fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because according to Team Rigondeaux, in his defense of why the title shouldn't be stripped, is because he's trying to get matches with the other champions. He wants to unify, which is great. We all want that. We all want an undisputed champion. I talk undisputed champion all the time on this channel. I want him to fight these guys. But what I don't want is for a champion boxer to not fight one time a whole year. Because not only are you not getting a fight, it's tough enough that, look at my recent videos. I'm staying on point with everything I say. Golovkin, same boat. But the dude is fighting 3-4 times a year. He's been doing that. Okay, yeah, he fought Adama. Okay, yeah, he fought Willie Monroe Jr. when he could have fought Lara instead because Lara is a better version of Willie Monroe. But the guy is staying active and he is still fighting ranked guys in the division until he gets those fights. Even though Quillin and Cotto and Canelo and all these guys don't want to fight him, he's staying busy. He's staying active. Guillermo Rigondeaux hasn't been active at all. And he's a champion. He holds the title, but he's not fighting. And his defense, or his team's defense is, well, we're trying to secure a fight with another champion. Well, if Leo Santa Cruz is still fighting, okay, called you out at one point, he's a little bit indecisive of where he wants to go with it. Frampton and Quigg are playing around, but now they finally set off to fight each other. Frampton's been busy. Quigg knocked out Kiko Martinez. Frampton had a tough fight on the PBC. Got knocked down a couple times. But these guys are fighting. And obviously, even though I never heard of the guy that Frampton fought on PBC, obviously, there's talent in the division because that guy almost beat Frampton. He gave him a hell of a fight. Obviously, there's talent in the division, but outside of these 4 champions, okay, or titleists, it's obvious that there's talent there, okay, because we see these fights and we're like, oh snap, who's this guy? You know, I found out Chris Algieri's fighting Eric Bonet. It's a good fight. You know why? Because I saw Eric Bonet giving Sean Porter some good rounds. He was obviously as far as skill, and technique, he looked like the sharper boxer when he was fighting Porter. It's just that Porter is like too aggressive. He was too aggressive, too powerful, too strong for him. And Porter ended up winning the fight. But Eric Bonet, like, people are like, yo, that dude wasn't bad. I wouldn't mind seeing him again. And now he's fighting Chris Algieri, which I think is a pretty solid fight, even though people don't know him. But let me get back on point. Rigondeaux, my problem with him, and I think he's one of the most talented boxers in the sport. I mean, I made a video comparing him to Floyd. I would never do that with any other boxer in this sport. Except maybe Andre Ward, but I made a comparison video. I made two. The guy is that good to me. But there's no reason why any fighter that's a champion or any boxer, period, should go a whole year without fighting. Unless you're Andre Ward. Because Andre Ward is the only one that gets that privilege. I'm joking. I'm joking because I don't want you guys to come on, yo, BoxingWave, you can't be saying that. Andre Ward should be fighting. I'm joking. It was a joke. All right? Nobody should be going a whole year without fighting. We could sit here and talk about we don't want to see this fight, that fight. All right? Guess what? I watched Golovkin against Adama. Okay? I watched Danny Garcia against Rod Salka. I watched the fight. You know why? Because I watch boxing. I hated the fight, but I watch it. I watch Andre Ward against Paul Smith. I'm going to watch Andre Ward against Alexander Brand. It is what it is. It's a bum fight, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to stay active. There's no way you're going to build a fight by not fighting. Like, it kills me. I was listening to Blood Boxing, and Blood Boxing, you my man and everything, but you sitting here saying that he got to ride it out. Like, ride it out for what? For what? You're not getting paid. You're not active. You're 35 years old. He's only got 15 professional fights in his 6-year, going on 7-year career. He only got 15 professional fights, and the dude's 35 years old. Like, Golovkin is old too. He's going to be 34, but I mean, the dude got over 30 fights. He got more than double the fights that Rigondeaux fight, and Golovkin has a 9-year career. What are you sitting around doing? Because Quigg and Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz, those guys ain't thinking about Rigondeaux. If nobody's forcing them to fight him, who you know what I'm saying? And you know what? Like, we got to get off that Jim Lampley thing, man. Like, we already know Top Rank, the whole Jim Lampley thing, the terrible commentary he did against the Becko fight. We already know, like, that's the past. We beyond that. We passed that already. We're not going to sit here and talk about how he been mistreated. Dude, this is my thing. And I feel the same way about life in general. Okay? Life isn't fair. You're not going to sit here and tell me a guy that did not fight a whole year. No fighter, I don't care what the rules are. No fighter should be sitting holding titles if they're not defending them. I'm sorry, no fighter. That includes any fighter that I like, period. Floyd shouldn't have been holding those titles at 154. Demetrius Andrade should have been stripped. Okay? No fighter should be just sitting around fighting. Rigondeaux, to me, it looks like Rigondeaux has no desire to fight unless it's with these champions. Now, I feel him. He should be fighting the champions. He should be fighting the best in the division. He thinks he's that good. He has his ego. He has an arrogant way about him, and it's cool. He should be wanting to fight these guys. But you just gonna not fight and just wait until one of them decides to fight you? When they making money and they're staying active? That just doesn't make any sense to me. You are a professional boxer. This is your livelihood. You get paid doing this. You're not Bo Jackson. You're not out here playing baseball and you playing some other sport at the same time. This is your livelihood. You should be fighting. That's what you do. So I can't sit here, and I feel like this back to what I was saying about, I feel this way about life in general. Hard work pays off. You're not going to get the fights that you want right away. But not being active is more of a reason. You're making it easy for them to strip you. Guillermo Rigondeaux just made it so easy for them to strip you. We already know it's unfair. We already know the WBO show favoritism towards other boxers. We know that already. Guillermo Rigondeaux know that. He said in interviews on how he's been treated unfairly. I've seen them. The fans say it. We all say it. But you making it easier for them to strip you when you're not fighting. Why are you not fighting? Period. You know, you can't just say ride it out. For what? What are you going to ride it out for? Ride to what? You 35 years old. They waiting for you to get out the game. They waiting for you to get out. Or go up to fight Lomachenko. Now Top Rank want to make that fight because they ain't confident that Lomachenko could beat him. And I'm not sure if Rigondeaux could beat Lomachenko. I think that's a very dangerous fight for Rigondeaux. You know? And if he were to beat Lomachenko, I don't think people are going to really give him that much credit for him because there's many people that feel Lomachenko is very talented, but he's unproven still. He's still kind of unproven. He's only had, 4 or 5 professional fights, you know? So even Rigondeaux, being a smaller guy, goes up there and fight him, it's not going to really matter if Rigondeaux beats him because Rigondeaux is probably going to be the favorite in that fight. You get what I'm saying? Like, why? You made it easy for them. You made it easy for them. You already know that they're looking to strip the title from you. And I want to know, this is what I want to know. Why didn't Rigondeaux fight Juarez, his mandatory? Why didn't he fight his mandatory? Did the WBO try to make this fight? And Rigondeaux says, no, I want to fight these other champions? Because if that's the case, well, they should have stripped the title from you months ago then. Because these other guys in the what's it called? In the 122, they're not gonna fight you. I mean, the WBA should at least make Quigg fight Rigondeaux because Quigg holds a WBA champ title. So that fight should have been made by now. That fight should have definitely, without a doubt, get made. Without a doubt, that fight should have happened already. All of them should have happened already, but. You know, I feel like they made it easy for them to do it. Regardless if what's unfair, what's not unfair, I can't really defend the guy that does not fight. Like, you know, I can't defend the guy that doesn't fight. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. You could fight. You could be doing something. Fight a mandatory. If they offered you the mandatory and you didn't want to take it because he's a bum, which he is, the number 1 mandatory is a bum. Nonito Donaire is going to knock him out. And get your title for it. And you already beat him. And then now you're going to have to end up rematching Nonito Donaire. And the fight is probably going to be a harder fight. Because you're older. And he's already got experience in fighting you. And it's not going to matter if you beat him again. It's a lose-lose situation. Guillermo Rigondeaux is going nowhere with his career right now. And I can't blame no one but himself because you should have saw this coming. You should know that these guys are ready to strip you at any time. You already know the game. You already know the game. You know, as far as him being blackballed and all that, if people really feel that way, if he really feels that way, then you got to watch these dudes, man. And I feel like that when it comes to life, period. You know, things are harder for certain people. You get what I'm saying? Like, things are harder. So you got to play the game. You got to work harder to get what you want. You're not working harder by sitting home complaining about how the champions don't want to fight you. That's not working hard. I don't care what nobody says. Sitting around and complaining is not working hard when you're a professional boxer. When it comes to any profession you work at, if you're going to sit here and complain about the other guy at work that did half as much as you, but got the higher position to you based on who they know or what color their skin is, or if you're one of those people that sit around and you want to sit here and complain about the other person that gets treated better than you because of who they know and what their race or gender is, and you're not going to just push yourself harder to get you where you got to go, then I feel sorry for you, bro. You're not going to get nowhere in life. Because in reality, outside of boxing, inside of boxing, that's just the way life is. So I don't want to hear all this, he got to sit around, they treated him unfairly because they stripped other guys longer than him. No, I understand that. We all know that. We already know the game is dirty. All we do is sit here and make videos all day about how the game is dirty. But we're not going to sit here and act like we know about it. We know how the game is. We're not going to act ignorant to the fact that, like, these sanctioning bodies they've never been consistent. It's never going to change. They're even more inconsistent now, more than ever. And I wouldn't want nobody that's not fighting. I mean, come on, man. Like, the WBO has to make money too. Like, they're not going to make money with a guy that's just sitting around waiting to get the fight that he wants. It's business. It's foul, but it is what it is. Like, what do you want them to do? Let him hold the belt while he's not doing nothing? Force fights. Okay, that's the only thing we don't know. None of us know what's going on behind the scenes. Did they really try to make fights for Guillermo Rigondeaux? Okay? Did Guillermo Rigondeaux turn down fights like Demetrius Andrade did because he didn't want them? Is he behind the scenes turning down fights because he wants to fight a champion? If he's doing that, he's not getting those fights, but you're turning down fights that the organization wants you to fight in, then they're going to strip you. Because nothing's happening. There's no motion going on. There's nothing going on. Something has to happen. You're a professional boxer. You got to fight. So that's how I feel about it. I feel bad for Rigondeaux, because it's talent that's wasted. I want to see him fight. Even if it's not the guy I want to see him fight, he should still be active as a professional boxer. 15 fights and going on 7 years, it's not good, bro. It's not good. I'm sorry. It is what it is. 15 fights? Come on. We're not going to hang around Donaire. We're not going to hang around that Donaire win. Just like Andre Ward. We're not going to hang around the Super 6 tournament. That's over. Guys at 175, there's killers up there at 175. There's killers up there. And I got to talk about Ward again. I'm talking about him on the next video, man. I'm out.